Okay, good morning and welcome to Just Daf It, Daf Yomi Shir. We're learning with Kesubos, Daf Gimel number 13. We have a tremendous shir for you today. We're going to talk more about Bari V'Shema, especially Niyot Ben Sion. Bari V'Shema, it actually might work, La Halacha, even without a migo and even without a cheskes haguf. It seems that's the maskan of the Gemara. We're going to talk more about Kansa b'cheskes psula v'nimseis ba'ula, right? A mekach toa, seemingly a mekach toa. So does that mean the marriage is voided? And then we're going to get into more about lineage, about kosher lakuna, not kosher lakuna. A woman, she appears pregnant. She's not married, a 16-year-old girl. She's pregnant. She's claiming, who is she with? Which man made her pregnant? She makes one claim, someone else makes a different claim. This is a sugya in the Gemara. The Gemara doesn't avoid the truth. This happens in the world. I don't know if there's so many stories like this in the Jewish world, in the frum world. I wonder what the statistics are. You don't hear too much about this. I'm sure there are girls that get impregnated in the frum Jewish world, out of wedlock, even frum girls, supposedly frum girls, maybe modern Orthodox girls. I don't know. Do they have abortions or not? That could drastically be changed. That was changed in the last week or two by when they overturned Roe versus Wade. So abortions now are pretty much, I don't know exact parameters of the law, but before then they were completely permitted according to the Constitution. Now, not so much. I think it's given over to the states whether they could decide whether or not it is or not. But there is no more constitutional right to an abortion. Republicans seemingly have won this one, pro-life versus pro-choice. I don't even call it pro-choice anymore. The Democrats, it's pro-abortion. I have an opinion on the matter about abortion. It is not the Republican way. I before even the Democrats called it pro-choice, I would say pro-abortion. You might think I'm crazy for saying this. How could you kill someone? I mean, it's a discussion whether the fetus is alive or not, but I'm not going to get into it from a logic perspective, but, my political perspective is I think that abortion is a good course of action in a lot of cases because the good far outweighs the bad. It's clear from the Torah that it's not called killing. The Torah says that you mistakenly hit a pregnant woman, you hit her in the stomach or something, and cause the baby to have a miscarriage. You only pay money to the husband, to the father. You're not chayav misa. You're definitely not chayav misa for that. Only if the woman gets killed, then you're chayav misa. You're not chayav misa because if you were chayav misa, you wouldn't pay the money because it became like the rabbi. We're going to learn later in Kesubos. So it's clear it's only a monetary claim. The child does not have the value of a life, otherwise you'd be chayav for killing him. You're not chayav for killing him. Maybe it's an isser essay, maybe a lot, probably not, but it's just a chiyuv mamon. Maybe there's no isser in the Torah at all of killing a child and a fetus. And when you weigh it, I always say you have to weigh other things in life also, because the quality of life beats just life itself. Quality of life is more important than life itself. Imagine a 16-year-old girl, she made a mistake, obviously she didn't, whatever, society got the best of her, desires got the best of her. He's a really charming guy, I don't know, but she had a child. I mean, she's 16 years old. If she went ahead and had a child, especially in the frum or Orthodox world, she'd be shunned from the community forever. How would she raise a child? 16-year-old girl raising a child by herself. I mean, these are things which are really hard to deal with, and it was a mistake she made. She didn't do it on purpose. To take away that right, I think abortion in a lot of circumstances is a good option. It's clear from the Torah it's not considered killing the person. So any argument you want to make from a Torah perspective, you don't really have much of an argument that's called killing a person from a Torah perspective. It's not. So that's basically what I have to say on the matter. Sometimes you're just doing it. You just randomly keep on doing it. You keep on being with men and just want to kill babies. That there's something wrong with your lifestyle or the promiscuity. But there are certain reasons why it'd be okay. And we're not going to talk about abortion today, but I just felt like throwing that in. All right, the Mishnah says, top of your Gimel Aleph, he omeres muka zeitzani, who omer loki al drus isha. They get married. There's no basulim. She says, you know what? I was a muka zeitz, right? She's admitting before the engagement she was a muka zeitz. She tricked him, right? And he thought she was a psula. She's saying, no, I wasn't a psula. I was muka zeitz, right? A muka zeitz, meaning a piece of wood got lodged in there. I know basulim, that's why. He says, no, you tricked me. You were a bu'ula before the marriage. She's believed. We'll see in what extent she's believed. We don't believe her. We assume that she was nevelis and it didn't happen through an accident. A piece of wood got lodged in the area and removed their basulim. The Gemara said, what are they arguing about? What claims are they making? Rabbi Yochanan says she wants a ksuva of 200 and he wants to give her a ksuva of 100. And it says, no, she wants a ksuva of a mana, and he says lo klum. Rabbi Yochanan Masayim mana started like a mayor. He was like a mayor. That would have been hikirba, we don't know hikirba Masayim, right? She's making a taina. She demands 200 zuz because he holds like a mayor. A mayor said that, like the Mishnah on Daf It, that a muka states whether he knows about her or he doesn't know about her, she's entitled to Masayim. Rabbi Amar Ramana, lo klum zarak rabbanon. The Amri ben Hikra Mana. Others says she's only asking for a mana because the Rabbanan argue, and Muka states only gets 100, whether he's Makirba or not Makirba. That's the maskan of the Gemara, and he says Jerusalem she gets nothing. Bishlam and Elezer lo kamak Rabbi Yochanan. It makes sense Rabbi Elezer didn't say like Rabbi Yochanan, de kamoki lakarabanan. It makes sense Rabbi Elezer didn't say like Rabbi Yochanan because he wants to establish our Mishnah according to the Rabbanan, the majority opinion. El Rabbi Yochanan, my time will Amar Rabbi Elezer. Why didn't he say Rabbi Elezer? It's more mistabra. It makes more sense to be mokim a stam Mishnah, right? It doesn't mention a mayor over here, like the Rabbanan. He couldn't do that. He couldn't say that over here because Rabbi Yochanan holds, as opposed to the Psak Halacha, we don't hold like this. He holds, if he thinks she's a psula and she's a bu'ula, she still gets a mana. She doesn't get, it's not considered a mekach toe. She doesn't get anything. If you want to establish, Rabbi Yochanan say it's like Rabbanan, so therefore she says 100, she wants 100, and he wants 100, right? So what kind of argument? Just give her 100. There's no machlokus in the Mishnah, right? That's why it says two Mishnayos. Right? Rami Bar Chama said before on Daf It Aleph, he says that according to Reb Meir, you wouldn't get if he tricks her, she would only be entitled to a mana, not Masayim. So here he's saying no, she's entitled to Masayim. And one Mishnah is to exclude from the opinion of Chia Bar Ava Amar Rav Sheshes. What does he say? He says he says, he said before, footnote 12, sometimes I forget things, you know. A mekach tos. Right, he says like what Rabbi Yochanan just said, she gets a ksuva of a mana. And this Mishnah is saying no, that he says Jerusalem Shisha, you were a ba'ula, so you get nothing. Concept, which is how we hold. Concept of psula, and this ba'ula, you get nothing. I'm going to El Rabbi Yochanan Tarti Lamali. Why do you need two Mishnayos? Chad l'dicha kocha Rabbi Gamliel. The answer is one is to tell you the strength of Rabbi Gamliel. Chad l'dicha kocha Rabbi Yeshua. Kamaisa l'dicha kocha Rabbi Yeshua. The first Mishnah, right? Avagav the equal member amigo, meaning the Mishnah on Yud Beis and Yud Beis, right? That Mishnah is to tell you, even though there's a migo over there, in addition to Bari V'Shema, right, which is obviously you have Bari V'Shema over there, you have a migo also. We also mentioned the Cheskas Goof yesterday, but we have a migo also. Even so, Lo Mehemna doesn't help. What's the reason? He holds not a good migo. To say a migo that she's muteris, just she's muteris to the Kohen, that's not a migo. That's what he holds. Asraisa, the second Mishnah, our Mishnah on Daf It, this Mishnah, even though there's no migo over here, she's saying the best possible claim, right? She doesn't have psulim. She says mukaseitz. Well, this is the best possible claim because she's entitled to Masayim or maybe Mana. She's not concept of Chesed, she's not a Jews Ish, which according to a lot of opinions, she get nothing. She's making the best time. And mukaseitz relegates her mutter to the kuna. She's not even considered someone who's raped, which is asur la kuna. She's making the best possible time. She doesn't have a migo. Still, she's believed, and also over here, there's no cheskas akuf over here because she's a cheskas psula. She was born a psula, and now she has no psulim. But we don't know how did she lose it. It's not like the previous Mishnah where it says one person claimed it was at a later time she lost it. No, they're both claiming we don't know what time she lost it. Was it she lost it because of mukazed, or she lost it because she was with another man? So the cheskas akuf doesn't help over here. There's no migo over here. Yet Rabbi Gamliel says she's believed, and that's only paskin. This is what's amazing. This is how we paskin like Rabbi Gamliel. How can we paskin like Rabbi Gamliel? Gamliel, the Gemara said before, in the end of Yud Beis and Beis and Yud Gimel and Al at the top, we paskin like Gamliel only because, even though we hold Bari V'Shem Alav Bari Ukiyaman V'Cheskas Mari, she has a cheskas, you have a migo, or you have a cheskas aguf. Here you have neither. You don't have either a migo or cheskas aguf, and still Rabbi Gamliel paskins Bari V'Shem Bari Adav. How could you motzi the mammon over here? That is the question I have for you, and that will be the topic of Iyun with Ben Sion, where we answer this in the most delightful way. We're going to answer a couple of questions, explain concept of cheskas psula, and then says Ba'ula, the halakha is she gets nothing. Does that mean mekach tos, the marriage is voided, or does it mean something else? Yes, it means something else. I'll tell you what that else is in Iyun with Ben Sion. Let's go on to the next Mishnah. He saw her talking with another man. The Amrullah, and they said to her, Mativa Shalizeh. Right, she was either secluded or had bia with the other man. We'll see in a second. They ask, who is this guy? Ish Ploni V'Kohen. She says, it's so and so a guy. He's a Kohen. He has the best yichus in the world. It could be a Yisrael. It's just to exclude someone who's a chalal or a mamzer and a sin. She's believed. We assume she's kshera. She was with a kosher man. She does not passel to the kuna. And we're going to see also, according to some opinions, the child is a kosher. We don't assume the child is a mamzer. Right? If she was with a mamzer, so the child becomes a mamzer also. Again, same discussion. Rishua says we don't believe her. We assume she was with a mamzer and a sin. Hard to believe. Most people are not in a sin of mamzer. Still, we don't know who this guy is. We assume the worst until she proves otherwise. Let's say she's pregnant. The second case, she's actually pregnant. She has a child in her stomach. Where did this guy come from? Where did this baby come from? No, it was a kosher guy. It was Boel with him. She's believed. Bishua says, no, we don't believe her. Again, he says, in second meaning, it seems like a redundancy. He says, no, again, we don't believe her. We'll explain in the Gemara why you need two cases over here. The Gemara says, "My midaberes." What in the first case, midaberes? She's speaking with him. What does that mean? Ziriam or nisra? She's speaking with him in seclusion. They were miyachid. We don't know if they were mabol each other. Ravasi or nivola. Ravasi says they actually had bia. They saw the act of bia with her, with this man. Bishlam lo ziri, haining zanim midaberes. According to Ziri, the first opinion says midaberes. She is speaking with him. Speaking usually does not connote having sex. Ella ravasi my midaberes. Just speaking have to do with sex. So the Gemara says, "Lishna malya." It's a nice way of saying it. This pasuk in Mishlei says she ate, she wiped her mouth, and she didn't do anything wrong. So, achlo maksapia. What does that mean over here? So, first I explain it according to a clean way, according to Rashi. I think says this. Maksapia. I don't know if the article says this. She ate. Pia refers to the lips of the mouth of a vagina. That's also called as lips. The vagina has lips. So she's cleaning off the semen or whatever from the vagina. That's what it's talking about. This pasuk talking about. I would say it's not talking about that because what does that have to do with midaber, with talking? I mean, you don't really talk with your genitals. I would say midaber refers to oral sex. That's what I would say. over here, which is also a form of sex. And the Gemara says that here it is a form of sex, oral sex, where she uses her mouth, which normally speaks. And if there's semen, he has to spit it out, to clean her mouth out. Okay, so the Gemara says, Bishlama l'ziyuri hainu dani tarti, midaberes umaberes. According to Ziyuri, says that means seclusion in our Mishnah. So there's two cases in our Mishnah. One, the first case is a chiddush, because it tells you just secluded, right? And the second case is where she's vada had a child from the guy. Ravasi tarti lamali. Why two cases? Both are cases where she vada had bia with the person. No, the two cases that are necessary. One is to machshir her, and one is to machshir her daughter. Her, she's machshir kasha lakuna. She wasn't nivel so pasula. The second one, bita, the daughter that she has, to tell the daughter is not a mamzeres. She could have been with a nisinar mamzer. It makes sense according to the one who says, right, was a machlokas in the Gimel Beis. If the mother is kosher, the daughter is also kosher. Even if the mother is kosher, the daughter is pasul. What are you going to say? Ravasi, who says that the case of in the Mishnah midaberes is nivola, so therefore we assume that he holds, right, one case is machshir abba, machshir bita is also machshir bita. Ziri was the first opinion. He said midaberes means to just talk together in seclusion. Amar Yeshua lo mehemna. And Yeshua says, Yeshua would say in that first case, as in both cases, also in the first case, she's not believed. Hamara, why should she not believe? Malkin al yichud. If someone secludes with a man when they're not married, we can make a malchus for that. But we don't assume for sure they're both each other, right? And we don't assume if she's a married woman that she committed adultery, even if they secluded together, unless there was kino of stira, like it says in Masechah Sot, you need a warning and then aid him on the stira. But just aid him on the stira, we don't assume. Say that Rav said not like Rabbi Yeshua. Rav could agree to Rabbi Yeshua. Malas will be Yochsin. Here, when it comes to lineage and kahuna over here, which is one of the things we're talking about, whether the woman is kosher to the zone or kosher to the kahuna, so therefore it's malas will be Yochsin. They made stringencies when it comes to lineage. Kahuna is very important, the lineage, so therefore they made a chumrah derabanan over here to say, even though normally we don't make her usher on her husband, but in terms of whether she's kosher to the kuna or machmer. Meisive, Brisa, we'll ask a question from Brisa. Brisa, she went with someone into a private place, seclusion, the top of your Gimel Beis, the chorba, or she went into an abandoned building. It is mafriya, Ken. Amrullah mativa shal yizeh. Ken, you came mafriya. Al chorba, Amrullah mativa shal yizeh. Koinu ben achi abahu. And they said to her, they said, what is the nature of this man? Kohen who ben achi abahu, she says, like the Mishnah says, similar claim. He's a kosher guy, ben achi abahu. He's even my first cousin, right? The son of my father's brother. Like our Mishnah says, that she's believed. We conclude that she probably was the Nesina Mamzer. According to Ziri, it says, right, midaberes means seclusion. Right? Just like our Mishnah, there's two cases. L'seiser obviously means a case where she went seclusion. L'churba is a case where we actually saw the bia. Why did you say two cases, right? The Gemara tries to answer. No, it says once. L'seiser the churba. It means it didn't say l'seiser or the churba. It really should, the proper way of reading it is l'seiser the churba. It's the seclusion of an abandoned building. The Gemara asks, how l'seiser or the churba? It's not so easy to change the lashon. It says all the churba, two cases. The Gemara says chad the churba the masa, chad the churba the davra. The Gemara switches gears. No, one case, the seiser is talking about an abandoned building in the city, and the second case, the churba is talking about an abandoned building in the field, right, which is away from the city. V'srichi. You need both cases. Yashmin churva the masa, which is the first case, an abandoned building in the city. That's why you need to teach me, because Gamliel, in that case, he says she's kosher. In the city, most people are kosher people, meaning they're to talk about a Jewish city. They're Jewish people. But an abandoned building in the field, which is away from the city, the Jewish city. We're talking about Lakewood over here, Jewish city. Most people, I think, Lakewood is 60% Jewish. The Dabra, they're all psulin. Most people are not Jewish outside of Lakewood, New Jersey, even in Jackson and Tom's River and all those other places. Most of them are not Jewish. Rov psulin. It's like Rabbi Yeshua. We conclude that Rabbi holds like Rabbi Yeshua. So that's the chiddush that no, he holds still she's kosher. Yashmin Bahi, if we just said in that case in the field that he kamar Rabbi Yeshua, because Rov psulin is Baha imam Gamliel. But he might say no. When by the city where Rov Ksherin, that's he's Mother Gamliel, Sricha, there, even Rabbi Yeshua, in that case says she's not kosher. Meisive, another brisa. Zu Eidas Shaisha Kshera. This is Eidas that a woman we believe her. Rabbi Yeshua Omer Eina Nemen. Yeshua says she's not believed. I'm not Rabbi Yeshua. This is referring to the cases of our Mishnah, either or she's secluded with a man, or she had bia with a man. Do we believe her and say it was with a kosher man that she was with? She's not psul and her child's not a mamzer. I'm not Rabbi Yeshua. Yeah, Tamodim B'Shvuyish Nishbeis V'Yesh LaEdem. We're going to see in Daf Chav Beis, right, in the second parak, a woman is taken captive, and there's Edem Shenishbeis. There's Edem that she was validly taken captive. When she's taken captive, the non-Jews, it's almost vaday that they violated her. V'hi Omeres Tahorani. This is a truth, right? If a woman is taken ransom to any country, any non-Jewish country, an Arab country, any country, she's probably going to be violated. I mean, that's just what happens. That's the Messiah. If you don't think it's going to happen, it's going to happen. Don't have such blinders on to what really goes on in this world. Most people in this world do whatever they want, especially if someone's taken captive. So it's not good to be a captive. They'll pretty much do anything to you. The best of the thing being to rape you. So the Gemara says, "Well, churba the davra." Where am I? I'm lost over here. My friend, he omeres Torani. Right, and she says, no, I wasn't nivelis to the guy or to anyone who took me captive. She's not believed. Everyone agrees about that. They said back to him, what's the difference in this case and that case? So Rabbi Gamliel says back to them, there's Edom that she's taken captive among the Jews. Here we have no Edom that saw that she was nivelis. We don't know she was nivelis. So the Gemara says, Amar lahem avlazuya shedim shari kreisa ben shena. No, you got it wrong. We're talking about a case where she's pregnant. So she has her stomach between her teeth. We know she was nivelis. Amar lo ro they come and prove about rayas. To that, Gamliel responded, no, when she's taken captive by non-Jews, they're going to for sure violate her. Hey, Amar lahen and apajabas rayas. So Rishon said back to them, no, even if she's taken captive in the seclusion of a Jewish person, no one can hold himself sent back from a rayas. Usually, if you seclude yourself, that's it. You're going to have bia. Medvar amurim be'edas isha begufa. The Brisa continues. That's talking about edas isha about herself. But edas isha bebita, they were called shtuki about testifying that her daughter's kshera, not a mamzeres. We assume she's a shtuki, a suffix mamzer. Maika amarlu, umay kamahadru. Let's just explain this Brisa. What were they saying to him, and what were they responding? Hachi amarle, hishaftana alamu beres, right? You answered us in Muberes. Meaning Gamliel says, fine, I can admit to you, someone who's pregnant, she's like a shvuya. But what about someone who's midaberes? She's just secluded. They said midaberes is like a captive. Amrulo, shiny shvuya, the rov they call him prutos v'arayasim. He says, when they're just in seclusion, when they're shvuya, she's taken captive, most goyim, almost all the goyim, are going to rape her. Amar lahem, Hanami came when they started there, ain't apajabas l'rayah. Since she came in seclusion, they probably had bia also. Kasani mias tarte midaberes and muberes. There's two cases mentioned in this price. Midaberes, which means seclusion, obviously, and muberes is where, right, she vadai had sex, and therefore she has bia. She has a child in her stomach. So Yufta the Ravasi to Yufta. So you see from this brisa, the two cases, there are two separate cases they argue about, not just one case of Nevelis, so therefore it's a disproof of Ravasi to Yufta. It is, in fact, a disproof. The Gemara asks, what's the comparison, right? When she's taken as a shvuya, so people are non-Jew. When she's Nevelis to a goy, so she becomes Pasal to Kahuna, she becomes a Zona, right? Here's Rov Ksherin, that's when she's in a Jewish city, she's in Lakewood, they're Ksherin, they're Jewish people. Messiah Rishub and Levi. Obviously, this brisa, this discussion, this brisa is of course the opinion of Rishub and Levi. Damar Rishub and Levi. Libre al machshir afilu b'rov psulin. Post psulin. Rav Gamliel is machshir. Even if most of the people are psulin, they're goyim. We still believe it. Libre al posel afilu b'rov ksherim. And Rabbi Yeshua is apostles, even if most of the people are ksherim, he's still apostles. Now the reason, right? This needs to be explained, right? Even if you have, well, it makes sense to Rabbi Gamliel because she has kashrus, which until now she's been kosher to the kahuna. So then, fine, so that's a chazaka. It's not good enough to believe. But then she also has, even if it's rov psulim, but there's miyah ksherim, so therefore it's 20% is miyah leis come on miyah ksherim, or ruba the isa come on. Even if it's ruba the isa come on, it's still 10%, so that's 85%. So therefore, we should be able to machshir. And Rabbi Yeshua is harder to understand. She has cheskes kashrus, even if afil barov ksherim and miyat psulim. Why doesn't the rov help? Maybe because, rov help. Ruby is come on. It's like 90%. Why shouldn't that help her out? It's hard to understand that. We'll have to explain it at a different time. The one who's mashir with her, right? Gamliel, our Mishnah, he says the bat is also kasha. Yeshua apostles both. Lezer Amar Ledivrei Al Mashir. Lezer argues that Divrei Mashir Gamliel posel bita. He says no, the daughter is still apostle. Amar Rabbi, my time with the Rebbe Lezer. What's Rebbe Lezer's reasoning? Mishlam I is the chazaka the kasha. The chazaka kasha. Bita is the chazaka the kasha. She's just born now. She doesn't have it established with the chazaka the kasha. We're donning when she's born. Is she kosher or not? AC Lezer Rabbi Yochanan bedvar more in this price up above. Be'edas isha begufa. Be'edas isha bita. They recall vlad shtuki. Everyone agrees the daughter is a shtuki, a Safek mamzer. My life shtuki apostle. That means shtuki apostle. She's a Safek mamzer. She's apostle. She's a Safek mamzer. She can't marry a mamzer. She can't marry Israel. It says lo shtuki v'kosher. She's a shtuki in some other aspect. She's kosher in terms of being a mamzer. She's not a mamzer. Make a shtuki kosher. Could there be such a thing? In could the Shmuel Damar Shmuel Asar Kohanim Omdim appears. Akam had a ball. You have 10 Kohanim standing in a line, kosher Kohanim, and one of them goes and is ball. He has bia with a woman. Avlad shtuki. Right? The child is shtuki. My shtuki. What does that mean, shtuki? If he doesn't inherit his father. We don't know which one of these 10 Kohanim his father is. If you want to get a Yerusha, you have to have a conclusive proof. He has a 10% proof who his father is. All it means is that we silence him from being the dinim of treating him like a Kohen. This is a pasuk. Where is this pasuk? This is a pasuk about Midbar Chafet. I think it was Pinchas, last week's parsha. Mishazaro miyuchas. What does it mean? Acharav. Mishazaro miyuchas acharav. Yatzazeh she'en zaro miyuchas acharav. If you don't know who the father is, you can't treat him as the Kohen, and he can't be no Igdinei Kahuna. He can't eat truma. He can't do a vote in the Beis Hamikdash. But it doesn't mean he's a shtuki. It doesn't mean he's a mamzer. It just means Dinei Kahuna we're shosekim. But in terms of being a mamzer, he's still considered kosher. That would answer for Rabbi Yochanan that the bas would also be kosher. That's the end of today's shir. I hope you enjoyed it. See you in Iyad Ben Sion. We'll discuss more Bari V'Shema. By itself, can we believe? Can it work to be multi-mama? Find out in Iyad Ben Sion coming up next.